So since this came up, was it last year, people were asking me, actually more than that, it was pre-ordered long before that, if I was going to review it and that, because I've noticed a lot of people like my Slave 1 reviews that I've got. You know, we go back on all the different Slave 1s and that. And this is my fourth big Slave 1, if you will, since the Rise of Boba Fett 1. That's the Clone Wars version. And I put off buying this because I didn't want to spend $200 on it. It was way too expensive. And I finally decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and pick it up. I got it for $100 off Amazon. I was hoping to go a little bit cheaper, but, you know, it went off of the Hasbro Pulse sales store and things like that. I was like, well, I'm going to get it now at half price before it disappears entirely. So here we have Boba Fett Starship, also known as Slave 1, for those of us who remember that. You see on the side of the box, very vintage style packaging here, showing different features of it. We go to the side here, we can see it has Boba Fett. There we go. Kind of a little diorama shot type of thing. And over here, again, another shot. You can see him in there. All over the place. We see lots of stuff to go with that. So let's check out this ship. So here it is, fully assembled, out of the box, stickers, all that stuff done. And ultimately we have another Giant Slave 1. It is the same exact mold. Everything is basically the same. And towards the end of the video, I will actually compare this to the 40th anniversary vintage release of Slave 1 that we got just 4 years ago. And so we can really see any differences if there are any. But the mold is exactly the same. It still works the same. We can pop open the front cockpit here to access and see the figures, like so. This still will turn as you tilt the vehicle. You see 3 different characters in there. It does have the slot for the carbonite. It does not come with a Haunted Carbonite on this one because, well, this is Book of Boba Fett. There's no Haunted Carbonite. It still has the, pop this open, there we go, the inner kind of cargo area, if you will. And like as you move the cockpit, you can see that moves inside of there. The post, which I found out, I think in the previous video, somebody commented, this is so you can put his backpack on the wall, his jetpack. But you can get an idea of how roomy it is and everything that you can do in there. And then you have this, it'll pop down. Should pop down. There we go. This pops down. So the latch comes down and you can take this out. And it's like a prison pod thing that you can store his bounties or whatever in there. This is definitely not from the movie or show or anything. It's just part of the toy. And let's see, once we've done that, pop that back in. You can pop this out. Yes, it does slide out. I didn't want to come completely, but you can see it's kind of got, it's supposed to be like the entryway. Obviously, it's smaller because this isn't fully to scale. That would be gigantic and cost us way too much money. That pops back on there. The guns on the back, on the tail fin, if you will, they do rotate and you can fire them. It's a little hidden button right here on the bottom of it. You press that and it will fire off the missile. I don't want it to, it's hard. Let's push that in. There it goes. Fired that off. I kind of held it, but yeah. So we have that. And then on the bottom of the ship, we have detailing. We have the sonic bombs there, which you can press these to release. This one lodged in the, there we go. You can press those to release them. So those are all still present. So this comes with 2 more things. It comes with the figure, comes with Boba Fett here, as he was seen in Book of Boba Fett, with his kind of Tusken cloak on. You can see he's totally detailed underneath. He's got his pistol in there, his rifle, his gaffy stick, all that. And at the time of this was released and announced, this was the only way to get this figure. Of course, he has been released as an individually carded figure, which made a lot of people like, well, I don't want to get the Slave 1 anymore. But, so he did come with that, and it came with a stand with the Mandalorian emblem on it. It's a clear stand. This is exactly the same as what we got in the 40th anniversary of Empire collection set. And you can see how that fits in there. It goes, and it makes it so you can have it kind of a flight stand, so you can stand it up and have it like so. So that is Slave 1 by itself. So how does this compare to the previous release? Here we have both of them right next to each other, and they're very identical. Ultimately, the big thing I see, this is the 40th Anniversary Collection one, and this is the Book of Boba Fett one. You can see this has kind of a dirtier color in there. It just looks dirtier, like it's been sitting in Jabba's dungeon for a long time. Other than that, the paint job is the same. I mean, you can see like the scrapes, and this right here, exactly the same. It's just a dirtier version. Now, there's a few things I've noticed different. So we look at the wings here. I can actually just compare right here. You can see a definite paint difference in the wings there. This has the yellow on it, whereas this now has brown. Again, it looks dirtier. It's the exact same vehicle. Everything's the same. It's a good looking ship. If you didn't have a Slave 1, it's totally worth getting, especially at the price it's going at this point. Now, I believe the underside is a little different. Yes, the paint job. So you can see we got blue and yellow there, and here it's kind of brown and yellow. So those are a little different underneath. And again, you can see much dirtier, besides my mops back there, much dirtier on the wings than on this version. So it's basically we took the Empire Strikes Back version, same paint job. Oh yeah, look at the wash that we've got underneath there. I usually see this type of wash done by customizers. That looks really good. As compared to the wash over here on the Empire one, it's a lot less. This looks much, much, much dirtier. So they just took the Empire version and dirtied the heck out of it, as if it's been sitting in Jabba's palace for like 5 years. And I just realized, when I was pointing out this wash and how great this looked, this is the Empire version. This is the better wash is on the Empire version. I'm sorry, this looks really good on the Empire version. Whereas, this still has a wash on it. I would say it's not quite as good. But somehow I missed that. I was like, I just expected dirtier. Okay, Boba Fett's, yeah. But this is the Boba Fett one, Book of Boba Fett one. And not quite as dirty there. So the most common thing I get asked, because people find my Slave 1 comparison video from probably about 5 years ago, where I did all the Slave 1s, and that was up through the vintage one from, like, was it 2013? But that was before this one came out. I've done a separate video on that. But it is one of my most popular YouTube videos, and people ask me, what about this one? Should I buy this one? Should I get the Book of Boba Fett version? And ultimately, I'd say if you don't have this one or the previous one, yeah, it's a great ship. The Hasbro did a great job on this. I think the paint job on this is really well done. Obviously, we saw there's a little different in the wash, but it's in an area that under here you really don't see that well anyway. It's probably why I missed it previously, but it still looks good. You could still use this in Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi displays, or Book of Boba Fett. It's a really good ship. It's missing the Haunted Carbonite, which, you know, this one has and the previous one has, but it has a Boba Fett figure that comes with it. And right now, you can get it for cheap. I mean, I got it for $100 off Amazon. I've seen it for around $100 in several places. So, you know, if you don't have a Slave 1 vehicle, this is the way to get it right now for a cheaper price. I would not have paid $200 for it. I had it originally pre-ordered and canceled it because I was like, no, I'm not spending $200 on that. That's ridiculous. And I'm glad I didn't, because now I've gotten it at half price. I was hoping to even go cheaper. I think the original was $75. Now, yeah, that's 2013. It's 11 years ago. But I think that was about $75. But yeah, there's been lots of inflation, as we have seen. But it is still a really good vehicle if you don't have it. If you already have the previous Empire Strikes Back version, and you're not any sort of weird completist like I am or anything like that, nah, you could totally skip this. The figure is available separately. There's nothing new enough about this that you really need. It's just a different paint job in the end. But that's going to be up to you. I thought it'd be cool enough to pick up. I'm kind of working on a little Book of Boba Fett section. Since I've got two of those throne rooms, I'm going to actually have the Book of Boba Fett throne room. And I might look at putting this kind of underneath the throne room type of deal, so I could set up that section a little bit better. But that is a look at the Book of Boba Fett vintage Boba Fett's Starship, also known as Slave 1.